And welcome to another week of the ETBU Coaches Show on the ETBU Sportsnet, brought to you by Hometown Tire here in Marshall, Texas. This week we're back with head football coach Brian Mayper. Coach, welcome back to the Coaches Show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Coach, we had your first home game this weekend under the lights at Ornelas Stadium. A little bit hot starting off with before the sun went down, but a large crowd. Talk about just the atmosphere with family weekend, Tiger Walk, the tailgating, and then just everybody coming in for the game.
If you had an experience, you got to come out here and experience the tailgate, and the Tiger Walk is incredible. Our fans, families, parents, you couldn't ask for a better atmosphere. Our stands were packed. The hill was packed. There wasn't much room, standing room only, obviously. So it was a great atmosphere to be in.
Yeah, I haven't seen that many folks around in a couple of years feel like that. I think it was over 3,100 there on the attendance, and all the people around on the hill and sitting down, and just a great place to bring a family for a football game.
No, definitely. We bring in recruits all the time to come and see the atmosphere that we have, and it's unlike anybody in the conference, I believe.
I think so too. I've been all over, and to see our atmosphere like that, I tell people you got to come to one of our games just because it's different and it's fun to see the people come in and the things that we have going on. So fun time here at ETBU as we get ready for this next week. But first of all, Coach, before we move on to who we play this week, tell us a little about Texas Lutheran game. Wasn't the outcome that you wanted, but there were some great things that came out of it. Jeremiah Robertson had over a 100-yard rushing game. We had some great defensive stands. Talk a little about the game against Texas Lutheran.
Yeah, obviously it didn't turn out the way we wanted to. We had a lot of mental mistakes. I thought it wasn't like the way we played the week before, and we talked about that. We'll address it, and we'll correct it to move forward. But, yeah, there was a lot of guys made great plays. Our offense MVP, you mentioned already, was Jeremiah Robertson, the first two touchdowns. We came off of a goal line stance where we just stopped the TLU on the 1 yard line after a pick, four plays in a row. So then we had to get out of the hole, and then Jeremiah went off for 85 yards. Then he scored again after a recovery on the kickoff, the ensuing kickoff. So that brings us to our special teams player of the game, Keyshawn Alexander, our third-team running back, got in quite a bit this game, but he's backside contained, and he came just pursuing as hard as he could. They had a pretty good return. He hits him, the ball pops loose. One of our guys recovers it, and then we score again that next series. So it's good to see when things go wrong. We were 14 in the hole at that point in the second quarter, and next thing you know, it's a 14-14 ball game. We got it even. And then defensively played great too. As many goal line stances we had and several takeaways, and our defensive MVP was Antoine Clark. I can't tell you the number of tackles he had. I know it was in the double digits, and several tackles for losses and several sacks. So it was a good effort on those three guys.
And one big hit that pushed the guy backwards.
Oh yeah,
that was a fun one to watch. That'll be a clip we'll use later on. Transitioning to game week. During the week, you have mentor nights or nights you bring in people to talk about. This last week, you brought in somebody special. Talk a little bit about who you brought in this last week and what that person did and what he spoke about to the team.
Yeah, so we brought in Damien West. Incredible story. He was a college athlete. Was one of the best quarterbacks in Southeast Texas. Went to North Texas and played football there as a quarterback, and then had a drug addiction, and that led on to further things. For those that were in Dallas at the time, he was an uptown burglar, which I didn't know until he started talking about that. So a lot of people in Dallas remember those days. And so he went to prison, had a lifetime sentence, and then he basically just transformed. He's the writer of the Coffee Bean. So basically the Coffee Bean changes the environment. He talked about three things: an egg, a carrot, and a coffee bean. Obviously an egg gets boiled, it becomes hard, so its inner self is hard and angry at the world. A carrot gets soft and gets trampled on, and then a coffee bean, stays the same, but it transforms the water around it. So his message is of positivity, about always moving forward, about growing spiritually, mentally, physically. It's a great story for our guys, and we did that right before practice, and And we basically had to shut down because we had to get out of practice with the questions, nonstop. And Damien's a great story. He's on a circuit right now throughout the U.S. He's talked at many of start off with Clemson, and it's been at all the big schools, Texas and LSU, I believe, and you name it, he's probably been there. But great speaker.
Because he's part of the leadership series through the famous author John Gordon. So
John
Gordon, yes.
Yeah, John talked to him, the energy bus. John's a great story. Another thing about not letting the environment affect you, about you staying positive, your body language. So he actually contacted Damien about doing this story, and obviously it's selling out. It's a really easy read, so I'm not endorsing anything, but it's a great one to read. And if you like biographies, The Change Agent is a good one also that he wrote.
Yeah, I as soon as it came out, I read it right away. I sat down, and I'm not a quick reader, but I read that one like very fast. I couldn't put it down. It was a great book. So each week you bring in different people to talk to the team, to encourage them, to build them up, and that's part of what you do with the program.
We try to. It's not every week, but hopefully we get someone in there to build them spiritually and mentally, because that's kind of what it's all about, is developing them outside of just the game of football.
Exactly. So this week, though, you're headed to West Texas, Alpine. Have you ever been out in that area before?
Yes, I coached at Howard Payne for 9 years, so I lived in the edge of West Texas, and then been to Sul Ross, been to Fort Stockton, the Marfa Lights out there, I guess. So it's
yes.
Once you head that way, it's a little different atmosphere than it is here in the piney woods of East Texas.
It's got its own beauty out there.
Yes.
You got a 10-hour road trip. You've already been on one long road trip this year, so 10 hours Alpine is probably nothing after going up to Wisconsin.
It's still a long ride.
This is true. So what do you have in store for the road trip? The guys got some movies. You're going to kind of hang out?
Yeah, so we'll leave. Obviously, we want to stay in class as long as we can, so we'll leave Friday morning early and head out to UT Permian Basin to practice over there. There's a place we eat along the way that the guys really enjoy on I-10, and then head down for our walkthrough, get to Fort Stockton, and you really just hang out. There's a pool there. There's not even a movie theater in Fort Stockton, so there's not much we could do except hang out with each other and enjoy each other. I know we might see Justin Ward break out the card tricks again. That was
pretty good.
That was pretty impressive. So when he gets through with his education, that might be an avenue he goes into, because it's as good as they come. So, but it's just finding the talents that our guys have and letting them tell stories, but something to engage them and have fun and just enjoy each other as a family.
And it sounds like we interviewed the Califatis brothers this last week for the Marshall News Messenger story, and they talked about how the team is coming together, and they feel like this is a team that they haven't had in the past, but this year, like, they're starting to come together.
Oh yeah, when we got here, that was the biggest thing for us is the guys feeling comfortable with us. And understanding the direction we're going, but just loving on them. You feel appreciated when you're loved. Love is all throughout the Bible. It's what Christ builds everything on. So if we love one another and you're genuine about it, it's important, and that's what the guys are feeling. We're there for them. As a young man, you go through a lot of trials and tribulations and just need someone to talk to. Everybody has that. So we're there for the guys, and they can lean on us and lean on each other too.
That's great. I love seeing that, and as a former college football player, and knowing what you guys are doing with the team and building them up. So looking forward to this week. You've already talked about the trip going out to Alpine, taking on Sul Ross State. They're coming off a 21-7 win over McMurray, their first win of the season. What are we going to see in Sul Ross when you go out there?
You play them early. There's a lot of hope right now. They're I guess 1-1 in conference, lost to Hardin-Simmons, and actually played Hardin-Simmons decently. Then a couple things happened, but it's going to be a team that's going to try to execute and get after it. And again, they're driving on hope right now, because obviously with one win, they have a better record than we do in conference right now. But I think they'll get after it, and you'll see a few things you hadn't seen from them in the past.
And it's a night game out there, so it'll be a little cooler, but it's going to be late. with the game and then coming back after that. So night games out there are beautiful, but like you said, you got the whole day to prepare to get ready to go play at 6 o'clock at night.
Right. Yeah, it just makes for a long day. That's why we're staying in Fort Stockton. So take our time getting up, pregame meal, then head over there about 2 o'clock or so.
Well, Coach, it sounds like a great plan. We're excited to see you guys play out there and bring back a W here to Marshall, Texas. So thanks for talking to us this week on the ETBU Coaches Show, brought to you by Hometown Tire. If you need tire needs, head out to Hometown Tire here in Marshall, Texas. Thanks for watching. Go to goetbutigers.com to check out everything for ETBU Athletics.